Good morning, everyone, and we are live. We're about to get started with the Dispatchers Roundtable, and this is going to be round 22. And this is also going to be the first time that we are on LinkedIn Live, so this is going to be good. But as always, a word from our sponsors.
At InDigital, we know the public safety professionals hold themselves to a high standard. In fact, standard doesn't do it justice. In over 25 years working alongside you, carrying millions of calls over our IP networks, your dedication has inspired us. That's why our ESI Net goes beyond industry standards, not only I3 compliant, but designed to adapt to future development for a network you can count on when it matters most. Learn more at indigital.net.
Rapid Deploy is the CAD of the future. It's cloud-aided dispatch, not dinosaur computer-aided dispatch that looks like it was built in the 1980s. Rapid Deploy's cloud-native CAD, mapping, and analytics increase situational awareness for call takers, dispatchers, and responders. Rapid Deploy is taking public safety by storm. It's fast and easy to deploy, with implementation in days, not years. It's affordable for all agencies of all sizes. Rich in features, functionality, and data, it's also reliable and secure as we use Microsoft Azure Government Cloud. Go to rapiddeploy.com to learn more.
If Within the Trenches has ever taught you something, open your eyes to what it is like to be a 911 dispatcher, or has inspired you to become one, then help support us and join our Patreon. Get exclusive bonus content, one-of-a-kind swag, discounts on merchandise, ad-free early access to new episodes, and much more. To join, please visit patreon.com/WTT podcast. And if you're an industry partner, we have something for you as well. And now, for the show.
This is Jordan, and you're listening to the Code 7 Podcast Network.
Warning. This episode contains the 3 A's of podcasting: adult content, adult language, and awesomeness. You've been warned.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to the sponsors as well as patrons. Again, this is Ricardo with the Code 7 Podcast Network, and we are getting started here with round 22 of the Dispatchers Roundtable. And this episode is sponsored by InDigital as well as Rapid Deploy. And again, this is going to be fun. Because we're doing this at a special time. Usually the roundtable is on Wednesdays. It's 2 Wednesdays a month that I do the Dispatchers Roundtable, and I do it at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, this is a different time. But always, it's always fun. It's always good, and I'm glad to see all of you here with us as well. It is 11:15 a.m. Eastern time, and it doesn't even feel like it. I don't know. It's all flowing, so it's good either way. But like I said earlier, this is the first time that we're going to be broadcasting not only on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, but also LinkedIn. So LinkedIn also has a live broadcasting service, and for a while they have been testing, and you could apply for to be able to take advantage of this service. And I think they just started allowing more people to come in. I was testing it just the other day, and it allowed me to go live, and I kind of freaked out because it went live. I thought, because I would randomly test it. And of course nothing would work. It would say, oh, you have to apply. So I continued to do so, and it ended up working. So I'm just kind of there like, okay, here we are. It's working. So this is going to be good. This is going to add more, of an element to the Dispatchers Roundtable by being able to do this on LinkedIn as well, and bring in another portion of audience for the Dispatchers Roundtable, and any of the other shows that I end up putting out there as well. But we are going to get started here, and I want to throw in our intro music. Actually, let me pull up my guest here really quick, and then we'll throw in the intro music, because we can do a little dancing right before we start. But as I added in the comments, a big thank you for joining us, and roll call. Where are you at? Where are you watching from? And please, as always, make sure to throw in some reactions and share this broadcast on your feed or your favorite podcasting page. So my first guest here is going to be Melinda, and let me pull up my notes here, and I'm going to bring her up on screen. I don't want to butcher her last name, so I want to hear her say it. There you are.
Hello.
Hello. So how do you pronounce your last name?
That would be Crockom, kind of like crock pot, but with at the end.
Nice. Excellent. Okay. It's how I had it in my head, but then I thought, well, what if it's Crockom instead?
It's
or
okay. As
something?
long as you don't, I get a lot of cockrum, and I'm like, no, it's not that.
Well, excellent. It's good to have you back because we were just talking a little bit ago before we got started, and you were on an episode a while back. But before we get to that part, I want to introduce our next panelist as well. And this is Ben Bills.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is Bills, right? It's not like...
I answer to a lot of things. I get called Bill a lot, but it is Ben Bills. Yep.
I always just want to,
This
make
true.
sure. Well, welcome the both of you. And they are both with the Public Safety Educator Forum. Ben is actually the president of the forum and all. And we're going to be talking a lot more about NPEF here in just a moment. But I want to go back really quick to what we were talking about a moment ago. And so let's go back in time a little bit, actually to November 20th of 2014. Man, that was a long time ago, because that was actually the July prior to that date was when I left dispatch. It was when I had finished off my dispatching career and ended up moving over to be an industry partner. Now, we ended up doing an episode on NPEF back then. It was for the conference that you had that was going to be coming up. And there was a PSA as well. That
Uh-oh.
Yes. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was a PSA that we shared, and some of the topics that we're going to go over are actually some of the topics that we talked about back then. But again, that was episode 76 back in 2014. It is now 2021, and I just put out episode 391 yesterday.
Ooh. Nice job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we are quickly moving on to episode 400. So I need to figure out what I'm gonna do for that one. Maybe I'll be able to do a live broadcast from Vegas, because I'll be over there for the Navigator conference at that time. But also doing NPEF as well. So I'm excited. It's going to be good. It's going to be excellent.
Me too.
Now, before I play some of this here, I want to get some, more information, and for those who are watching, to learn more about the both of you, as well as the the National Public Safety Educator Forum and the conference. So, Melinda, if we can start with you, what is your connection to 911? How did you get into public safety to begin with?
Yeah, well, so I work for the Commission on State Emergency Communications. It's a state agency in Texas that administers 911 and poison control services in the state of Texas. We're known as like a grantee agency, so we don't cover all of 911 in Texas. It's a little different with our state. We cover the most area, right? But as far as like the bigger cities, Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, they're districts, and so they get their money directly. But for those smaller, rural areas, we administer their programs and are the grantee agency. And so actually this year in October will be my 10th year with the agency, and I have been a public education coordinator, now communications manager, and I have been involved with NPEF since the second conference or third conference. So I only missed the first one, and I've been on the committee and love being a part of it. I love 911 and poison control. I love public education, being able to share with the community and let them know things that we think everybody thinks they know, but they really don't know when it comes down to those moments of, panic when you're not thinking straight. So.
Excellent. And Ben, how about you? What's your connection and how did you get involved?
So I work for the El Paso Teller County 911 Authority here in Colorado Springs. We service 2 counties, population of 700,000. My role here is the public information officer. I deal with media requests, but a bulk of my job is working with kids in school, elementary school age, and then we do some adult presentations about the importance of appropriate use on 911 and the emergency notification system, how that works. Prior to that, I've been in 911 or with 911 since 2000. I was a dispatcher with the sheriff's office here and a training coordinator. So I took the leap to my current position in 2008 and I love it. But I think it's super important that people have community outreach programs just to reduce risk within their communities. And then ultimately you can teach a child how to save somebody's life. And we've seen that happen here locally as well.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you both for being on as we get into more of this topic of public education with 911. And I want to jump in and share. I want to share this video here really quick because again, this is what was going on back in 2014, and
we try to keep public education fun. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and that's the best part, right? That's the best part. So I'm gonna turn off one of my settings here so that I can make the audio go through and everyone can hear it as I play this. So this was what was shared with us back in 2014. This was a PSA that had gone out, and it is fun. It's good. And let's see.
And you can sit home if you're watching too.
This is yes, correct. All right, here we go.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room.
Really quick, I got to stop it here because I dig this hat. I really dig the hat. It looks like somebody else has a hat on too. On the far right there, someone has the hat too. Okay, sorry. I had to stop it really quick.
Great.
Give some props to the hat.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got, don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high. Bring me down, can't none.
I'm noticing here that there are many people in this video that I actually know.
Nice.
I didn't, and I watched it back then, but a lot of these people I didn't meet until a few years later. So, okay, we'll get to the end here. Oh, there you are in the back.
Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because clap along if you know what happiness is.
And there's cell phone Sally.
I miss all those people.
Very nice. Very nice. That is excellent.
That was in Naperville, Illinois. We all shared an experience together at 3 a.m. when the fire alarms evacuated us into the parking lot.
Oh,
yeah.
for real?
Yep.
Oh,
Yes. The first night we were there, I'm like, what is going on?
so I mean, let's talk about this a little more as we're talking about the conference and stuff too. This is good stuff. Some of these stories that happened back then. I want to know a little more about this PSA. So how long did it take was this one take? How long did it take for you to do
It
this?
was one take. So we had just started doing video.
Mm-hmm.
Now we try to do a video PSA every year, either as a group, or we will separate them into groups and have like different educational topics. And then they have to create their own PSA, and they're always really fantastic. And so this was the first one we did. So as you can see, we didn't really move the camera around a lot. We had, them kind of move toward us and just dance around. And we said, just dance, have fun. We'll put messages on poster boards, and we went at it, and it was great. It was a ton of fun.
Nice. That's excellent. And just like Sarah said down there, everyone is completely into it, and that's what makes it even more fun. I like though that there are a few when the camera's going by that they're like they're not exactly sure what to do. They're just
Some people got instant cool points by grabbing their shades, and like Chuck had his hat. I mean, people ate it up. They love doing those PSAs. It's awesome to watch it happen.
Oh.
Yeah, or like there's a guy in the front that he holds his cup up that says 911, points to us.
Oh yeah, that is excellent. I remember watching this video a few times when we had first done, or when I was putting the episode together, and I have it on there. So it's on this. It's here on the website.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to end up. I have to add the actual audio portion of it in the player, but for the whole episode. But yeah, everything that's on here, you've got your cue cards, and everyone is talking about like this one here. Be prepared to answer questions. There's call to action all over this video, done in a fun way. It's upbeat music, and everyone is dancing and getting down. And Cell Phone Sally is doing her thing as well.
Yeah, so we're able to share a message and have fun at the same time, and it kind of sticks with people because they're having fun. And what I've learned by taking kindergarten again this year with my virtual kindergartner is they do a lot of singing to learn stuff. And so that's why we've kind of incorporated the music part into it, because it really helps people remember.
So what makes this so important to you? Either one of you. Actually, we can start with Melinda. When we're talking about public education, of 911 and your group and everything that you put together and put out there, why is this so important?
Well, personally, it's so important to me because I just have a passion for helping people, and that obviously includes the public. And so public educator is just made for me. Anything where I feel like I might be able to help someone else with the education I'm providing them means the world to me if I'm able to give back in any way. And so that's why I'm involved in this, and NPEF specifically, because it's just so amazing to be able to meet these educators from all over the United States. We've even had some from Mexico and Canada. And gosh, am I missing any other places, Ben? No,
I don't think so.
And so it's amazing, fun experience every year. Ben will tell you that it's what we look forward to every year is the NPEF conference, and so does everybody else that comes. They're excited, they're ready to learn, and they know that when they come to our conference that not only are they going to have fun, they're going to learn new ideas and new ways to educate the public. And they always leave happy. I mean, when we do our questionnaire at the end, I mean, rarely do we get any negative feedback. So it makes us feel really great about what we're doing. And so as long as I've continuing to help people, then I'm in my happy place.
I love it. Just like at the end of the video when you're in there and you're just getting down.
Been real quick, yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Ben? Why is the education of public to 911 so important? Why is it important to you?
It's important to me. I love working with kids and adults and teaching them things they might not have known about public safety. To be able to give somebody information that might help them save somebody's life down the road is super important. We've seen it here locally where we've trained, and then weeks later we're there honoring somebody as a 911 hero. The NPEF conference is amazing, and I'm glad to be part of that because, like Mel said, we can get all of these educators together in a room, and you have them from all over the spectrum. You have people with no programs and they're trying to get started. You have people with programs that have been in service for years and they know what they're doing. And to put all of those people into the same room and to network and get new ideas, it is just amazing to watch it. Like you mentioned in the PSA where the camera's panning and you've got people getting down and then you have the people like that. Watch the YouTube testimonial page, because a lot of times our folks that may be a little timid in the beginning or maybe overwhelmed by it are the first ones to jump in line and give a testimonial about the experience they had at NPEF and how they're going to go back and implement those programs. And one last thing is that I also am really, really grateful that NPEF connections that I've made throughout the years, like when you think you have it together and you've got it going on, make connections with police and fire educators, other 911 educators. It's not just see them every year at the conference. It's contacting them multiple times throughout the year, kind of bouncing ideas off the wall to see how you can improve what you're doing in your community.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So how did NPEF start to begin with? Like, how did it come to be?
So I guess about 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, about 5 or 6 educators got together at one of the NINA conferences, and they were just talking about how there was not a lot of educational sessions. There wasn't a lot of pub ed sessions. And so they're like, well, what if we created our own conference that was just for public educators? And so they started working on that and came up with a name and just kind of steamrolled from there. And so the first few conferences were in Texas. I think the first one was in Fort Worth, and then San Antonio, and I believe Dallas, and then we've been in Austin, and then we started to go, to other states as we grew, and more people started to learn about us. So really, it was just a couple of educators that got together and saw that there was a need for this, and it's been really successful ever since. Did you want to add anything, Ben?
No, he's very well stated. I agree. It's been very successful. I got involved a couple years down the road. I think you guys had 3 or 4 conferences, and then I joined the first time in Austin. And I apologize, I don't remember the exact year, but I loved it. I thought
2013 because I was pregnant.
I had it together. I thought I had it together, but I learned so much there and picked up so many new ideas. It was awesome.
It's good because I remember, being in dispatch and stuff, and there was some public education stuff we were doing, but we weren't aware, of a lot of the resources that were out there. And really, there wasn't a lot at the time, because you said it was, what was the year that it started again now?
It would have been probably 2010.
2010. Okay. So around that time was when, I started doing a bunch of stuff as well, but we were still in dispatch trying to figure out, like, we were just learning about, like, the Michigan's chapter of NINA, we, and APCO and stuff. We didn't have a lot of awareness on all these resources that were starting and stuff. And I remember, we even had, conversations on, what if there was something that was out there for people to really take hold of, and not only for us to learn more, but to put out to the public. Because really, the only thing that was going on was, we had a couple people who would go to some of the local schools, and our Citizens Academy that would come in, and which was always fun. We would have them come in, and you would immediately see their eyes pop wide open, like, wow, what is this? This is cool. And then, can you run me? Like, no, we can't. That's illegal. There are rules. Like, no, we cannot do that. Good try, but no, we cannot. There was a lot of different things that we wanted to do or wish were out there, and we just didn't know about it. So it's awesome that this organization came about, and all just like-minded individuals who were thinking the same thing. Like, what if we did our own thing and put it out there, and just able to help out not only those in the chair, but of course, especially those out in the public to learn a lot more.
Yeah, well, and as Ben said, we deal with people on all different types of spectrums, whether they have a huge budget, and they can do all kinds of things with their public education program, or maybe they don't have a budget at all. And so what can they still do? And there's a ton of things you can do even without a budget. And a lot of times they'll start, I don't know if you've heard of like tag teams. And so they'll get people, telecommunicators that are really interested in, helping with public education, and they come to our conferences too. And so maybe it's a small little podunk town that just doesn't have an educator or anybody, but there are telecommunicators there that want to help educate. And so they will get involved, but sometimes they don't know where to start or how to start. And so by coming to the NPEF conference, we have different sessions usually each year that explain, different people will give those sessions explaining like, well, this is how I got from A to Z, and this is how it worked for me. And it's really been such a huge help to so many people. And like Ben said, with our testimonials, if you go back and look at either our website or at our YouTube page, you'll see so many testimonials, and they're all positive and reinforcing that this is the conference that you want to go to if you want to network, collaborate, and learn more and become the best educator you can be.
And just to piggyback on that a little bit too, is we also have for the folks that may not have a program or people that have well-established programs, the information sharing is awesome. We're in the process of transitioning. It used to be a Dropbox, but we're transitioning it to OneDrive now. All the files aren't there yet, but people can share what they have for literature, what they're using for lesson plans in the schools, what they have for adult programs. And you just have a laundry list of things that you can look through and maybe put something together in your area if you don't have a program already.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. Now,
and did I say that it is free to join our group? Free. We're a free group to join, so you don't have to pay like you do with other organizations. The conference itself is not free, but this year it's crazy affordable since it's virtual, and it's always super affordable anyway. We've kept it that way because we know that some are telecommunicators or people from smaller areas that are educators that, when you look at like Nina and stuff, I mean, how much is it to attend? Like $600 or something like that. It's a lot of money. And then you add in travel and all that stuff. And so we have always kept our conference prices, or like, I think it's $175 early bird when we have it in person. And that just makes it so much easier for, people to get approved and attend. And so we want to continue to keep it that way.
Now, before we get into the 2021 conference, I want to kind of reflect on some past ones. Now, you did mention that this 2014 one, something happened at like 3 a.m, you said, right?
Yes.
So what are some other, standout moments from the conferences that that you remember that, really makes this, one to go to?
Well, for me, I just look back at the conferences I've been to since whenever that one where Chuck with the fancy hat was dancing down the center there. The closing luncheon for all these conferences, to see not just the connection, but the emotional connection made between all of these people that come together and do the same job. is amazing. That really stands out to me in all the conferences, just to watch people when it's time to go home, no one's ready to go. They just want to keep staying there and working together and collaborating. But it is pretty emotional to watch them all leave and say their goodbyes after an awesome few days together.
Totally.
Your example there, when we're talking in Naperville, Illinois, yeah, we all were awoken at 3 a.m. for the fire alarm. So that was a little more personal connection. That was a different level for the rest of us because everyone was in their jammies in the parking lot at 3 a.m. just chilling. So
I don't even think, the conference hadn't even started. So it's like, I guess this is our networking event.
a little networking event in the parking lot.
Oh man, that is awesome. I don't remember which conference it was, but it was in San Antonio, and I don't even remember what floor I was on, but I remember I was getting ready to finally crash out from being out with coworkers and customers and such, and I go to crash out, and as I'm going back into that deep sleep, the alarm goes off, and get my stuff on and go to because they've got like the intercom and everything, and they're saying to make your way down. Yeah. And I go to open the door, and someone was already walking by saying, "Don't worry about it, it was false." And I thought, do you really work here? Like, I don't
Who are you?
Yeah. So I started making my way out, but then another person came up with like radio. It looked a little more official, and they were saying, no, it messed up. Everything is fine. And I said, okay. And I remember the next morning, some of my coworkers and I were talking about it, and another coworker goes, "I slept through the whole thing. Like, you guys didn't even say anything to me." Yeah, you guys didn't say anything to me. He's like, "Well, they said everything was fine. Why would we say anything to you? You mess up your sleep." And I just remember the person was just eating their eggs, staring at us like this. Like, how dare you? Like, dude, you were fine. Everything was fine. But Melinda, how about you? What are some memorable moments that you take away from some of the past conferences?
Well, for me, a couple. I really enjoy our keynotes. We've had some amazing keynote speakers at our conferences, and the one that you showed the video from, we had Mel Robbins, and I don't know if you've heard of her, but she is a big speaker, and she also had a talk show this past year. And she's got lots of books and stuff and on self-help and different things. And when we had her there, she was so great. She had people emotional and just opening up about their different experiences and, helping them, giving them ideas on how to improve their, experience or whatever they might have been sharing about or whatever they might have been going through. And it was just amazing to see that connection going on. And that happens a lot with our keynotes. And so it's just great to see the keynotes and the speaker, should I say, and the everybody watching to be vibing together. Everybody's listening. Nobody's looking at their phones. Like that's the best part for me is seeing that.
Yeah, I have another one too. It's more of a hands-on approach to doing a conference. A lot of conferences you go to, you watch the speaker and listen the whole time. But we have these wonderful breakout sessions or exercises we give them, and on paper, the schedule goes maybe till 4:30 or 5 at night, depending on what we're doing. But I remember watching people go into Walmart, sitting in the lobby at 11 o'clock at night. I saw 6 women in plastic suits acting like they were on the moon, and it was all because we gave them a project on, hey, you're going to film a PSA and here's your topic. But they take it and run with it. I mean, we've had some pretty amazing people were singing, people actually lit stuff on fire, but we were safe about it. I mean, it was amazing to see all the stuff. They get so creative when they're together, but they don't just stop at 5 o'clock when the conference is over and then just go sightsee. They are together until they go to bed, and you can tell sometimes a little bit when they're having coffee in the morning. But everybody, I mean, it's a good vibe, and people just love being there. It's great.
It's truly incredible. I mean, I get such a kick out of watching them in the hallways and practicing and doing their little jingles that they've come up with, and they're hysterical. And that's why I'm telling you got to check out the YouTube page and the NPEF page and see these because they're really great and inspirational. And they all have some type of, 911 message at the same time.
Okay, so I need you to explain this a little bit. So when you are at the conference, you have like little challenges that you do, and you have people break up into groups to do PSAs, or because when you mention the people in like plastic bag suits, I was thinking this was just something you saw randomly as you were, going off after a session and going to get dinner or something, and you saw some people out there just
we call it we call it an outside the box workshop. Usually
outside the box.
Yeah, and what they do is they get an assignment and they get grouped up, and then like one assignment was maybe to build a PSA. That's where I saw the people in their plastic space suits, but they work on that we give them a significant amount of time, and then we give them a little bit of block of time for each day that they're there. So they might work 90 minutes the first day, an hour the second day, and then they might button it up so they can be presented on the last day. But they take it to the whole next level. I mean, people are at Walmart. I saw people buying headbands and making guitars out of cardboard. People were dressed up in little space suits for the theme of their PSA. They are all out there on our NPEF page, but just to watch the collaboration and creativity is pretty awesome during that outside the box.
Nice. So, okay, so this is on the NPEF page on YouTube, or is it part of Cell Phone Sally? Are there two different ones?
Yeah, so sometimes you'll find some of the NPEF videos on the Cell Phone Sally YouTube page, but there is an NPEF YouTube page as well. And then we do have videos. I think Ben was mentioning, I think that we just uploaded the videos that the attendees did on their PSAs directly to Facebook. So if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see those too.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gonna look for some of those videos to see if I can pull it up here really quick. All right, so NPEF.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. I think from the last time we had it too. It just feels like forever ago.
Someone did a one with it had to do with calling 911, and there was a car accident. Do you remember that, Mel? And one of the shots is a person behind the wheel, and the next one, somebody's laying across the windshield.
Oh my God! Yes, that was
it's
like,
just ridiculous.
What?
Yeah, safety first, though. It's all done under the watchful eye of professionals, all
of course.
Trained professionals.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean, yeah, some people are just really, really creative, and we just gave them a float. So like for example, work outside the box workshop. In the beginning, some things we would do is, and it's like Sunday, so it's our first day. It's not really it's like the kickoff to the conference, but it's not like the session starting until the next day on Monday. And so during the work outside the box workshop, we would give them activities. So the first one I attended, the activity was you got like a widget, like say a pen or something, and you had to come up with a catchphrase or something that you would put on there about 911 education, like lock it in your pocket, or text or call, don't text, when there wasn't texting, things like that. And so we would do it just during that time. Well, then, as you saw in 2014, we did a video as a group. And so it kind of spurred from there that every year now we've either done, a video as a group, or a couple times we've used it as the work outside the box workshop, where they get into groups and create a PSA. And so we'll have, different topics like Carrie's Law, text to 911, lock it in your pocket, all those different, big public education topics that we really push. And so we put them all in a, bowl, and then they'd pick out one, and then they had to, a group of 5 or 6 of them would then come up with a PSA. And so all they had to do was simply just use their phone, and we told them they could use iMovie or something similar. And if they needed help, the committee would help them with their editing. And as Ben said, then we would share them all at the end. And I mean, people were just laughing. They loved it. I think it's probably one of the best parts of the conference as well.
It's important to note, though, that every single one of those they made them for free, and anyone that may or may not have a program specifically for 911 education, they could be used on a fun social media campaign because they're all generic. They're not logoed to any one specific agency.
Exactly.
Wow. This is awesome. And it kind of, I'm a little jealous only because I didn't get a chance to go to some of these in the past. I'd been invited to them, but some of them were at the same time as some of the conferences that I was at for work, so I couldn't go. And I found a video here actually. I think this one is the Lock It in Your Pocket actually.
Oh,
okay. So I want to try to play this here. It looks like it's maybe a minute long. So, all right, hold on. Because this looks fun. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, because we give them specs to, like, don't make it more than a minute and things like that. Yeah, so.
This is, okay, let me share my tab here.
And people are so creative. It's just great.
And let me see. Yeah, this should be the right one. All right, cool.
Hey, who called 911?
I remember this.
Gather around and let's do the lock it. We can do the lock it of your phone in your pocket. Hips are just meant to rock it. Use your finger to lock it. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Hell yeah.
Your butt is used for a lot of things. Dialing 911 should not be one of them. Click it. Lock it.
Very nice.
He said your butt should be used for a lot of things, but not for dialing 911. Oh my goodness! I'm glad that the disclaimer was at the beginning about the adult content. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that was awesome. So there's a bunch of them on there. For those who are watching right now on replay, whichever, make sure to go to the NPEF page on Facebook to see all these different videos that are on there. There's just know your location and post your address clearly. Yeah, there's tons of them on here. So this is a great idea to be able to do this. And let's see, some Conan clip ended up automatically playing.
I was like, I'll clap too.
Yeah. We'll clap either way because they did an excellent job. But this is good to get their creative juices going and everything, but also to get pumped up to go back to their center and do kind of the same thing and get people into it. I really dig that.
Exactly, showing them how simple it is to create a video, even if you don't have any money. Yeah, we don't all have money to pay somebody to create a PSA for us, but we could do it ourselves.
That is pretty awesome.
That's what we're really trying to do: empower these educators, and collaborate and network, and so they're talking to each other all year round, like Ben said. And
I thought you were going to bust out some Vanilla Ice there for a moment when you said collaborate, and I thought that was like an opening for one of us to say, listen.
Don't worry, there's a PSA on there where somebody rapped about with the Vanilla Ice song.
For real?
Yeah.
Like, now he's gonna go try and find that.
They were all dressed like crabs. It's pretty good.
Oh man, yeah, that'll be one that I'll find and I'll share it on the podcast page. That is pretty awesome. Now, as we've reflected on the forum, on the conference, and how it got started, some past great moments and everything, and then this, of course, doing these PSAs and such. We've got the 2021 conference that's coming up as well. Now, this one is going to be a little different. It's going to be virtual. So tell me about this. How are there going to be, some differences, but also, kind of capture the same, magic that goes on with the in-person one as well?
Well, I'll just start out by saying the one thing we didn't mention also about NPEF is that makes it unique is when you come to our conferences is we're all in the same room and we're all seeing the same session. So you're not having to pick different sessions, and that really makes it feel like more like a family as well. And so then last year we were supposed to have our big 10-year in Austin, and we were so excited, and then the pandemic hit, and so we weren't able to. And this year we're like, well, we can't have 2 years without it, and so we thought, well, what the heck, let's go virtual, right, Ben?
That's right. It was a tough decision to make, but we did it. But I mean, the virtual conference, I think people will love it. I mean, it's 2 days, July 13th and 14th, starts at 9 a.m. Central Time. But the speaker lineup is amazing. And to add that feel to some of the in-person stuff that we do, there is a prize wheel. We have giveaways to incentivize people to get to their seats and be ready for the next session. We also have this pretty neat, it's a allotted time slot in the first day on the 13th for like a speed networking round, where typically in person we'd kind of pass a mic and then you start linking up with people that had similar interests. But there'll be also 2 hours dedicated toward a speed networking round for the attendees that have signed up for the virtual conference. So we've tried to make it as close to as in person as possible. But I'll be honest with you, I'm excited to get back to Austin next year and see everybody in person and pick up where we left off.
Yes, me too. So yeah, we will be having it in Austin next year. So in person, so we're super excited about that. But the virtual conference we were really excited about as well. In person, it's usually it starts on a Sunday afternoon and ends like on a Wednesday at lunch. And so it's usually about 3 full days. Since we're doing it virtual, we just made it 2 full days, so we weren't like overdoing it since it was our first time. And as Ben said, I was able to secure some amazing speakers, and one being you, which I can't wait to hear. And so Ricardo's going to be joining us on a virtual conference. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Don't say I am. We have you at 2:10 on the 13th. Let's do it.
I'm just joking. No, I'm excited. I'm excited for it as well. This will be
and
my first time. So
yeah, and then we've got Tracy Eldridge and Hank Hunt and Sarah Weston. And so they're all big names right now in the 911 industry and doing great things. All of you are. And so we're super stoked to have you all join us. And
we've also got Tom Singer will be kicking us off to talk about connecting with people in a gadget crazed world. It's a hot button topic for right now in our society. Everyone's on their cell phone or their Facebook. We did pick up a couple speakers, Safira Olson and Ruth Lagerquist from Montana. They're going to be talking about how their small agency makes a big impact in the public education world. Let's see, who do we not get? Angela Bird is here local in Colorado. She works with me, but she's from the fire service, which is awesome because we're all about public safety education, talking about how they adjusted their community risk programs during the pandemic. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Mel, we got Amelia Mueller and Kristen McKinney. They're from North Central Texas. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yep. And they're talking about digital marketing, which can be an awesome free way to get your message out there for your public safety agency.
Superb. And also to give a shout out here, let me share this really quick for your sponsors. Let me share this.
We've got some great sponsors so far, and we might have a couple more coming in. And speaking of sponsors, recently we did get a 911 Training Institute to be a sponsor, and this is so great. We collaborated, and Ryan Dedman is giving 10 tickets, or is allowing us to give 10 tickets away. And so we have a contest running on Facebook right now. If you look, you can go try and win a free ticket, and we're going to make a decision at the end of this week or early next week, depending on the amount of videos we get in. But basically what we're asking people to do is either go on Facebook or go on or send a message to our email, which is also listed on Facebook, and we can share with you as well. But they just need to take their phone, say, "Hi, my name's Melinda. This is my 10th year attending the conference, and I would love to go again so that I could finally see Ricardo speak." And that's all you'd have to do, and upload the video, and we'll pick 10 people out of that. And so we're so grateful to the 911 Training Institute for that.
And I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, just because the NPEF conference, it's never been about making money or having a big bank account. We keep our prices super low for these conferences to make them affordable, and it wouldn't be possible without that list of sponsors that you just showed on the screen. So we're very appreciative and grateful for all the sponsors we have for the 2021 virtual conference.
Yes, we are.
Excellent. Now, as we go into the wrap up of this roundtable, which has been excellent to learn more about the both of you, but as well about NPEF, how the organization started, and just the conference and everything. And I see Karen in here.
I know.
Saying she can't wait.
She's on our board.
Very cool. I dig me some Karen. She's awesome.
I know. Too.
What when you're looking at when you're looking at the call takers, now there are some that are here in the audience right now, and then of course those in the replay will probably be more answers that come in the replay actually, but you're looking for information from them, to see what the public needs to know most, and what you should be putting out there. But before they, as they're answering and such, or answering on replay, you'll be able to come back and see it in the comments. But what are some of the things that, just off the top of your head, that you think are some things that people really need to know?
You're gonna go first, Mel? I'll do it. So yeah, there's a couple topics I think that are important for any public safety agency. One is the importance of the appropriate use of 911, just as simple as identifying an emergency, knowing your location. Several campaigns can be built around that. Calling versus texting 911 if you have texting available in your area. Things like what to do if you call 911 by mistake. Those are all things that can be educated on, and they can reduce the amount of unnecessary calls that may come into a center. Lots of different programs out there can address several different things. Emergency notification systems, how to get people to register. But the call takers, I guess, would be the ones to know best. If you're trying to establish a program in 911 specifically, on 911 education, why not go to your call takers and try to figure out, what can I do to make these folks' job easier? And if they're getting unnecessary calls on 911, maybe we make a campaign on, this is our non-emergency number, and this is what you should use it for. So there's lots of different ways to do that. But I mean, your call takers would be a good start if you're trying to establish an education program in your community.
I agree. And that's, I was going to say something similar, is, I feel like a lot of times, and I've never been a telecommunicator like you both have. But, they answer those calls, they deal with all, those really hard calls, from one spectrum to the other. And no one ever comes and asks them, their opinion or their advice when it comes to the higher ups and decisions we're making, even in let's say next generation 911, because that's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, and going from analog to digital. And so I think it's so important that the call takers that are listening right now, or, if they can share with other call takers, to reach out to us and let us know, because we do want to hear from you. What should we be educating about? What is the most important thing that the community needs to be aware of? And it could be something as simple as knowing your location or your address or what have you. But they're going to know. They're the SHMEs, they're the subject matter experts. And so we always want to make them feel included, make them feel important, and know that the work that they do is important. And so we want to do our job in getting that education out.
So how can they reach out to you for this specific question and anything really? How can they reach out to you all? Where can they find you on social media and learn more about the conference, of course?
Sure. Our website's 911npef.org. If anyone wants to check out the site, NPEF's also on YouTube. The conference website is all on the front page, or the conference information is all on the front page of our website. And as you click to register, the whole schedule will appear. You can also email us at contact@911npef.org, and we're happy to answer your questions there. But you just got me thinking, Ricardo, we should add a little forum or section on the site where telecommunicators can talk back and forth, or anyone in public safety back and forth about their education programs. Maybe get ideas that way too. So lots of different ways to get a hold of us. But I would like to make a comment too about what you were just mentioning on the getting your telecommunicators involved. And this is just my opinion and observation, is that the folks that answer 911 calls you never see them. No one will ever see them or meet them. They won't know who they are on the streets. And as you know, they get burned out, and some of them will turn into what's a word I can use that's not mean? Curmudgeons. Some of them get a little calloused, right? So, and I've seen it where maybe you should reach out to folks in your agency if you have an outreach program, see if you can get involved, because I've seen the most calloused, negative person in the whole world come out and they do education with a kid and get to talk about what they do, and it is like a whole different person. So I think it's a great outlet to kind of maybe do a little bit something different with your day and maybe get some traction with your programs at your agency.
Right. And that just made me think, so much times we hear, 911 tragedy, right? But if they're able to still do their job with 911, but they're educating the public, it just brings more of a fun element to it, especially when you're working with the kids and you get to use Cell Phone Sally. And it's just a true joy to educate people and see the light go off in their head when they do understand, and children and adults.
I fully agree with you, the both of you. I went through something similar where, and Ben, as you mentioned, the more seasoned of dispatchers or call takers, that have been there for a long time, and you end up hitting this burnout. And in doing what I've been doing for all these years and sharing all these stories, I've come to realize, and it was for me as well, that sometimes the job that we love the most and have most passion for, that seems like it's the one that's really taking us out, is also the one that ends up saving us as well. And I say that because especially most recently, Dare to Be Great, there were a few stories that were shared where they were reignited, their passion was reignited for 911 when they started doing some education as well. So like for myself, I had hit burnout about 6.5, 7 years into the last center that I was at. And what helped me was to start writing about everything that I was doing. And I was educating the public. I really didn't see it that way because I was sharing my stories and stuff, but people were learning and they wanted to know more. So it was a form of it, right? So then, starting to do the podcast and all this other stuff, it was the same thing. It was having the public, or helping the public know what it's like on our end, to be able to understand us, but also for others to learn from each other. But then a good friend of mine, Rob, he did a session where he was talking about, how he was a director. He ended up losing his job, fell into some dark times, and then was brought in to be a interim director here in Indiana. And listening to him talk and him sharing his story and everything, he started helping a lot of these dispatchers and call takers learn more about what was going on beyond the walls that they were in. they didn't know a bunch about these resources, about any of these things that we're talking about, and by teaching them, it was helping him, and it basically saved him. So looking at it from that way as well, public education or getting involved on that aspect can do so much for someone who maybe has hit that burnout stage, or is trying to find something else in 911 to continue with what it is that they're doing already.
Yeah.
And even
communication is such key.
Mm-hmm. Reach out to other public safety agencies. If your agency doesn't have a community outreach program for 911, I bet you your fire department or your police department talks about it somewhere in one of their programs, and who's better to speak about it than someone behind the headset? Offer to go out and participate in one of their programs too. I think it's great to bridge the gap between all the public safety agencies and 911, because basically we're all in this together. We're all on the same mission.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be amazed at the ideas that you think you've thought of everything, and then you meet someone in fire or police department, and they're doing. You're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And so that's really what NPEF is all about: is collaborating, networking, and helping each other, and because. Like me, Ben, he has a person that helps him, but it's like a one-man show, and so we don't have somebody to piggyback ideas off of. But if you have NPEF, you've got a lot of people to piggyback ideas off of, and then they might make your ideas even better. So I mean, it's really just a win-win to be a part of this organization and attend the conference. I mean, I'm so excited about this virtual conference. I hope it goes as good as your conferences have gone, Ricardo. But wow, we have a lot to. You set the bar real high, but we're super stoked to have it coming up so soon. So
we've got more than 2,300 members of NPEF ready to help you. So you should join us today on our website, 911npef.org. Shameless.
There you go. No, that's good. I'm glad you put that out there again.
Yeah.
And, it's free too.
Yeah. If there are any sponsors listening that are not on our sponsor page, you can sign up to sponsor us on our webpage too.
There you go. Well, excuse me. This has been excellent again to have you both on here to learn more about you and, share about what it is that you're doing and what you have coming up. And I'm sure we'll be, getting more information here in the comments, and for people to be reaching out to the both of you. So thank you so much for being here for this round.
Oh, thank you
for having us. It was a great time.
Excellent. Now, I'll be right back here with the both of you. And for those who are watching, if you have any comments, questions, or you want to be a guest on the show, or if you have a topic that you want to be discussed on the Dispatchers Roundtable, you can send us an email, and it's going to be wttpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that is wttpodcast@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Twitter. That is @91podcast. You can like us on Facebook. That is facebook.com/Within the Trenches Podcast. This episode has been sponsored by InDigital as well as Rapid Deploy. And if you're looking for any bonus content, and remember, all of the Dispatchers Roundtable episodes are going to have an audio version as well as open mic, and that'll be for patrons. That'll be an exclusive new perk for patrons only. That'll be on patreon.com/WTT podcast. So make sure to check that out as well. And you can watch this episode of the Dispatchers Roundtable, Round 22, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, as well as LinkedIn now, which thank you, LinkedIn. That is excellent to be able to do this live there as well. So you can check that out there. And then the flagship show Within the Trenches podcast can be heard 24/7 on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.